Welcome to True Crime Cases, where we explore some of the most haunting and perplexing crimes. Today, we delve into the heartbreaking story of Emma Reynolds, a 35-year-old marketing professional whose life, which seemed perfect on the outside, ended in tragedy. What truly happened behind the closed doors of her idyllic home, and who was responsible for this shocking crime? Join us as we uncover the tangled web of obsession, jealousy, and betrayal that led to Emma's murder. Emma lived in the quiet suburbs of Portland, Oregon, where she worked as a marketing manager for Synergy Solutions, a respected company. Known for her dedication and warm personality, Emma was admired by her colleagues. At 35, Emma had built a solid reputation as a hard-working and compassionate person. Her co-workers respected her not only for her talent, but also for her kindness. Despite her demanding job, she found time to pursue her love of the outdoors. Hiking, camping, and spending weekends at Mount Hood were her favorite activities. But her true happiness lay in her family. Emma was married to David Reynolds, a 38-year-old software developer. Together, they had two children, Olivia, 9, and Ethan, 7. The family often spent time together in nature, exploring national parks. Emma loved teaching her kids about the outdoors, sharing campfire stories, and creating treasured memories. By June 2015, Emma's life seemed picture perfect. She was in line for a major promotion, a role she had worked toward for years. To celebrate, she planned a weekend camping trip with her family in the Oregon wilderness. From the outside, Emma appeared to have it all: success, a loving family, and a bright future. However, behind this perfect image, cracks were forming. Beneath the surface, Emma was struggling with turmoil in her personal life. Over the past year, her relationship with David had become increasingly strained. David had recently developed an interest in unconventional relationship dynamics and had been pressuring Emma to explore these ideas with him. Specifically, David proposed that they engage in a wife-swapping arrangement with their friends, Sarah and Kyle Whitman, whom they had met through a local social group. Emma was deeply uncomfortable with the idea, but in an effort to preserve their marriage, she reluctantly agreed. However, the situation quickly escalated, leading to growing tension and resentment between Emma and David. Sarah, a 32-year-old yoga instructor, had developed a troubling fixation on David, which only made the situation more volatile. As Emma grew increasingly unhappy with the arrangement, she began to pull away from it, but she had no idea just how dangerous things were about to get. Over the following weeks, Emma confided in a few close friends about her growing discomfort in her marriage. She shared how the lifestyle David had introduced made her uneasy, and how she regretted ever agreeing to it. Emma told her friends she was planning to end the arrangement and confront David, hoping to bring some normalcy back into their lives. Meanwhile, Sarah, driven by her obsession, was pushing David to leave Emma. Sarah's fixation had grown into a dangerous obsession, and in her mind, Emma was the only thing standing in the way of the life she fantasized about with David. The weekend before Emma's death, tensions came to a head. She confronted David about the wife-swapping arrangement, telling him she wanted out and for their life to return to normal. David, though frustrated, seemed to accept her decision. Emma felt a brief sense of relief, thinking the worst was behind her, but that peace was tragically short-lived. On the morning of July 10, 2015, David Reynolds woke up at 6:30 a.m. to get ready for work. As he got out of bed, he noticed Emma wasn't there. Assuming she was downstairs making coffee, he headed to the kitchen. Nothing could have prepared him for what he found next. As David descended the stairs, he saw Emma lying lifeless on the living room floor. She had been brutally beaten to death. The sheer violence of the attack made it clear this was no random act, it was personal. With no signs of forced entry, it was evident Emma likely knew her killer. As Emma's husband, David was the first person police turned to for questioning. Shaken and distraught, David told the detectives how he had found Emma's body that morning. He admitted to their recent marital struggles but firmly denied having anything to do with her death. However, in such cases, the spouse is always a prime suspect, and David's emotional state did little to clear him from suspicion. As detectives dug deeper into the case, they uncovered the wife-swapping arrangement. This revelation added a layer of complexity to the investigation. Their focus soon shifted to Sarah Whitman, the other woman involved. Through interviews with friends and neighbors, detectives learned that Sarah had become dangerously obsessed with David. Sarah had been relentlessly trying to convince David to leave Emma, but when he refused, the tension between them escalated. On July 12, 2015, detectives brought Sarah Whitman in for questioning. At 32, she was well known in the community as a free-spirited yoga instructor, teaching at a popular studio in downtown Portland. However, during the interview, Sarah's calm facade began to crack. When questioned about her relationship with David, Sarah admitted she had feelings for him and had pressured him to leave Emma. Still, she denied having anything to do with Emma's murder. Sarah claimed that on the night of the crime, she was at home with her husband Kyle watching a movie, but her alibi seemed shaky, with no one able to confirm her whereabouts that night. Her obsessive fixation on David made her a prime suspect in the case. Kyle Whitman, Sarah's husband, was questioned next. At 35, Kyle was a personal trainer, known for his outgoing personality and commitment to fitness. He expressed shock over the events, and admitted that his marriage had been strained ever since the wife-swap arrangement began. While he confirmed Sarah's story that they had been together the night of the murder, detectives weren't fully convinced. Both Sarah and Kyle seemed to have motives, but clear answers still eluded investigators. Just as the case seemed to stall, a breakthrough came on July 15, 2015. A neighbor walking her dog in a nearby park stumbled upon something unusual hidden under a bush, a small duffel bag containing a blood-stained hammer and a pair of gloves. Alarmed, she immediately called the police. Detectives arrived promptly and collected the items as evidence. The hammer appeared to be the murder weapon, and the gloves were sent to the lab for DNA analysis. As the detectives waited for the results, Detective Porter couldn't shake the feeling that this new discovery would blow the case wide open. When the lab results came back, the findings were startling. The blood on the hammer matched Emma Reynolds, and the DNA inside the gloves belonged to none other than Sarah Whitman. Further examination revealed Sarah's fingerprints on the hammer. It was the damning evidence the detectives had been searching for. With this concrete proof in hand, authorities moved swiftly. Sarah Whitman was arrested at her home later that day. Though she continued to maintain her innocence, claiming the evidence had been planted, her pleas fell on deaf ears. The overwhelming physical evidence told a different story. The evidence against Sarah was undeniable. As detectives pressed her during interrogation, the real motive for the murder started to come to light. Sarah's obsession with David had consumed her, and she was determined to eliminate Emma from their lives. After David refused to leave his wife, Sarah's jealousy and frustration spiraled into violence. On the night of July 9, 2015, Sarah went to the Reynolds home, armed with a hammer, intending to confront Emma. What started as a heated argument quickly escalated into a deadly assault. In a fit of rage, Sarah bludgeoned Emma to death with the hammer. In a desperate attempt to cover her tracks, she tried to clean the scene and disposed of the murder weapon and gloves in a nearby park. But Sarah's obsession clouded her judgment. She left behind too much evidence. The trial of Sarah Whitman began in October 2016. The courtroom was packed with reporters, community members, and Emma's grieving family. The prosecution built a solid case, detailing Sarah's growing obsession with David, her deep jealousy toward Emma, and the fatal consequences. Kyle Whitman, devastated by his wife's betrayal, moved to a new city to start over, trying to escape the painful memories. Meanwhile, the community of Portland was left stunned by the tragedy. Emma Reynolds' death served as a harsh reminder of the dangers of unchecked jealousy and obsession. Thank you for watching True Crime Cases. If you're fascinated by real-life mysteries like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. Have a case you'd like us to explore? Share your thoughts with us. Stay safe.